military technology has come a long way since the days of the World Wars, and is in fact continuing to grow more and more every day. Today's video is all about the newest technology trends in the military that you should definitely know about. Let's get started. Number 5. Energy weapons enter the fight. Electric energy is being used for more than just electric cars and energy-saving batteries. In fact, our own militaries have taken advantage of the advancements in electric energy to create weapons. The United States Navy has created a weapon that converts electrical energy into laser systems that target enemies with precision and ease. The first test of such a weapon was done in 2020 on May 16th at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. Although this may seem like a new idea, the United States Navy has actually been working on these electrical laser beam systems since the early 2000s. That's almost 20 years ago. The problem was, in the early years of its development, these weapons were large and difficult to transport. Luckily, thanks to advancement of technology, the military has been able to create smaller and sleeker models of said weapon systems. One of the major benefits of these energy weapons is that, unlike other traditional homing projectiles currently being used by the military, these are completely undetectable from enemies. They are also silent, making any enemy forces it's being used on completely unsuspecting to what's about to come. However, great military technology like these energy-based weapons don't come cheap. The market is currently being reported at over $4 billion. But that's not all. That project is projected to increase as years go on, and may even reach around $10 billion by the year 2026. That's an increase of about 19% in just a period of 4 years. So, how is it currently being used by the United States military at this point in time? Well, Lockheed Martin has started installing the high-energy laser and integrated optical dazzler system with surveillance on their US Navy destroyer ships. The debut was made this year in 2022, and only time will tell how many more ships will implement this system as the years go on. One thing is for certain, however. Energy-based weapons are definitely a thing of the future, and they're here to stay. Number 4. Focus on electronic warfare and hacking. Electronic warfare is definitely a more recent military trend, but that doesn't mean it isn't a widely effective means to combat enemies. One major way that electronic warfare is utilized by military officials is by jamming enemy communications. We first saw this being used almost 20 years ago in 2004. The first communication jammer was called the Counter Communication Systems and was developed by the United States military, and it's out of this world, literally. That's right, the Counter Communication Systems is powered from space and uses satellite to block out any communication between enemy forces. Although it was created about 20 years ago, it's still in use today. In fact, the latest update to the original Counter Communication System was released in 2020, and there may be many more to come as time goes on. We actually do know for a fact that the Counter Communication System is contracted to receive updates up until the year 2025. This has been made possible by a partnership between the US Space Force and L3Harris Technologies. The two parties have settled on a contract that's worth $120 million. Right now, the current goal of these updates is to significantly reduce the amount of power needed to keep the counter communication systems up and running, and still functional to the United States military. This counter communication systems has proved itself to be so useful that several branches of the United States military have actually expressed interest in implementing it themselves. Speaking of which, the United States Navy recently made a contract with Raytheon Technologies in 2022 to build advanced electronic jammers for them. Not just one, not just two, but 5 jammers. What will they do with these new jammers? They'll be flying aboard the EA-186 Growler EW jets. Of course, 5 advanced electronic jammers won't come cheap to the Navy. This deal has cost them $226 million. But that's a small price to pay when you realize just how successful these tools are when it comes to disrupting enemy radar, computer, and communication systems. Number 3. Advances in hypersonic systems. So, what is hypersonic? It's a word we hear often, but let's fill you in on what exactly qualifies something as hypersonic. Hypersonic is something that moves at a speed that is 5 or more times faster than the speed of sound, which is 761 miles per hour. As you can guess, inventions utilizing this high-speed technology have already been created by the United States military as they strive to create stronger weaponry. One of the main weapons they've created using hypersonic systems is their missiles. Not only are these hypersonic missiles faster than the speed of sound, they also fly at low altitudes, which make them incredibly difficult for enemy forces to track, while also being easy to maneuver. The United States isn't the only military force that has devoted time and energy to mastering these hypersonic weapons. Both Russia and China have also been hard at work, creating hypersonic missile systems to not only attack foreign lands, but protect themselves from any incoming attacks. In fact, Russia became the first military in the world to actually use a hypersonic missile system during an attack. It happened in March of this year, 2022, when Russia launched missiles that struck Ukraine. The race to build more hypersonic systems has proven to not only be potentially deadly, but costly as well. The United States Pentagon is currently racing to outdo Russia and has put in over $3 billion in research and development of hypersonic technology. But that's not all. They're also requesting $4.7 billion for more research in hypersonics for 2023. This is definitely a military trend that you won't see go anywhere anytime soon. In fact, we believe that hypersonic technology will only become more advanced as time goes on, which could have major outcomes on world affairs. Number 2. Cyber warfare. Cybersecurity isn't only a military matter. In fact, we're faced with cyber threats every day in our civilian lives. Think how devastating a cyber breach could be to the average person. Now, times that by 1,000,000. That's how serious cybersecurity is to our military. Although they may happen online, cyber attacks can have real and sometimes deadly consequences. For example, in 2021, a Florida water plant fell victim to a cyber attack that, if it had not been spotted, could have poisoned the community with dangerous amounts of lye. You may be wondering how cyber warfare affects military personnel. Well, the truth is, our electric grid system could easily be overtaken if a cyber attack got to it, and that would leave millions without heat or power, and potentially take their lives. Experts say that our military needs cyber training for situations just like this, because an enemy force only has to take down 9 substations in order to knock out the electricity grid for the entirety of the United States. And as technology advances, so do the potential threats to mankind. Some experts believe that by the year 2025, cyber attacks could weaponize our operational technology and be used to cause direct harm to innocent civilians as an act of terrorism. Because of potential threats like these, the United States military has begun to form special teams that are devoting their time and energy to learning all about these cyber threats and how to stop them dead in their tracks. Currently, the Marine Corps has announced 4 new positions, each one specifically devoted to cybersecurity. They are Interactive On-Net Operator, Exploitation Analyst, Host Analyst, and Network Analyst. And that's not all. Other branches of the United States military have begun to work on special positions of their very own for this exact reason. Number 1. Increased investment on robots. Artificial intelligence and robotics have absolutely changed the tech game as we know it, so there's no surprise that they're starting to be used by military personnel. Right now, the United States military is projected to spend about $24.2 billion on robotics by the year 2025. But it's not as though massive amounts of funding haven't already gone towards robotic research. In fact, in just 2021 alone, the United States military spent over $7 billion on robotics. They've come a long way from the measly $17 million that was allotted for robotics research in 2015. As of the time of this video, in 2022, the United States military currently has 20 robotics programs up and running. So you may be asking yourself, why is so much money being spent on military robots? Well, they've proven themselves to be quite helpful during combat and defense against enemy forces. For example, one of the biggest ways robotics can help keep our military safe is by assuming risks so actual human beings don't have to. The difference between a busted robot and the loss of a human life is huge. Robotics are also beloved by the military because they have abilities that human beings don't, like being able to stay alert for 24 hours, several days at a time, on the lookout for incoming enemies. Unfortunately, that's just a feat that human beings physically cannot perform. Even in non-combat situations, robots have proven themselves useful. At the Tyndall Air Force Base, they currently use robotic dogs to patrol the areas and alert any personnel of a security breach. In short, robotics aren't going anywhere, so it makes sense as to why so much funding is going towards them, because they truly do so much for everyone in the military. Which one of these military technology trends was most impressive to you? Let us know in the comment section below. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a comment, a like, and as always subscribe, so you don't miss out on any more awesome content like this. We hope to see you next time, and have a great day.